Hello, lovely people out there. Very warm welcome back to the studio of Global Azure 2022. We are live on Learn TV with Microsoft, and it's brilliant. And we're also live on plenty other platforms and streams: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we have it, and YouTube, of course. So please join us and listen in to these sessions where we are now going to go live and talk to people around the globe about their community events and what they are doing for the community. We have a long list of people, and I don't want to take up their time, so I'm going to put them straight into the mix here. We're going to start by going to the top of the world, to Nepal, to Jairaj and Pradeep. How are you guys doing?
Yes, pretty much fine.
You're good?
Yeah.
So you did an
going
event.
well.
Yeah, we done Azure Bootcamp. So
Hashtag done.
Azure Bootcamp Kathmandu.
Right there. Fantastic. And
Yeah.
so I actually saw you guys this morning.
Okay.
Well, it was morning my time, but it was about 1:30 your time when you started your event.
Yes.
Yes. And so you have had a Global Azure event today in Kathmandu, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Tell us about
Right.
that. What went down? What happened?
So let me start. So basically, take away the Nepal, myself, which I represent, as well as Nepal Cloud Profession, Pradeep Kardensal. So we both coordinate and organize this Azure Bootcamp Kathmandu. So we had at least 25 people in that event. It was nice. The speaker talked more about the latest thing on the Azure things, on the AI, on the data break. Yeah, it was quite well, right? And last we did team building session also. So overall, it was nice for us. So
Good.
yeah, that's the thing. So moreover, Pradeep sir will tell. So he's the main one. Yeah.
No, I'm not the main one.
Are you the main
You
one,
ran a
Pradeep?
lot of. I mean, you.
So
Not
you're
really,
the
Magnus. It's just that, of course, yeah. Obviously, it's our maybe this is the 10th year that we are running Azure Global Azure event. Earlier, we used to run Global Azure Bootcamp in year 2020, maybe that the year one of Global Azure Bootcamp. But now it
Yep.
is no more a bootcamp; it is Global Azure 2022. So yeah, we feel we really cannot think of skipping this event. We want to continue this momentum. In fact, we want to grow this Azure momentum with the Global Azure, and that's the reason why we thought that we should collaborate. So together we are with Tech Webinar and Nepal Cloud Professionals, and here
Yeah.
we go. We just we just closed the this year's Global Azure event in Nepal, in Kathmandu. So it
Yeah.
was, I
Yeah.
mean, it is always fun. It is always, I mean, getting to know with the other Azure professionals, and not just the Azure professionals, but when we interacted with the participants there, we came to know that there were people from Alibaba Cloud. There were people from what was that, Huawei Cloud, from other vendors as well. So it was not just about Azure for us. So that was pretty, I mean, interesting. Yeah, connecting with the people of working in other cloud environment.
Definitely. I can imagine that. And you guys, we have a little bit of, it's a running joke in the Global Azure group that we say that you guys are the people that are actually closest, in fact, to the clouds, because Nepal, and you're far up. So no. Yeah. Well, it's the way we refer to you guys. Well, I
Yeah,
really,
obviously. I mean, we are
but no data center in Nepal at this time.
Yeah, we need it. In here, there is a data center, but that is of the
uh
government one, Nepal government,
Oh, government.
not from the foreign country. Yeah.
Right, right. But and so from you guys' perspective, what is the industry like when it comes to working with cloud technology from Nepal? Are you accustomed to having customers that are international on a global scale because this is the cloud and it makes it easier for you, or what's the story there?
So if I can add something on this,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think Nepal is picking up, I must say, over the last couple of years. Like if I look into the Azure perspective in Nepal in the last 5 years, definitely there are more and more Azure customers. There are more developer companies that are moving their applications and services to Azure cloud. So definitely there is a momentum. It's not as much as in Europe or in the US, or but definitely. Although being in the very close to the Himalayas, yet I think Nepal is picking up. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Yep. So tell us about Jarash. Can you tell us about the sessions that were on the event today?
Yeah, pretty much. As I'm not remembering all the session one. So basically, you were the keynote speaker, right? Thank you for that one. On the first, so
My
we
pleasure.
started timely, just 5 minutes only. The delay was there, so there were at least 7 to 8 attendees. But yeah, that was nice. The keynote. And then after, we talk about Power BI by Sumit. So he's working on the Leapfrog. Then after, we talk about Databricks by Sri Khanal. So he's also a Microsoft MVP. And then after, we talk about AI on the Azure, right? So by Projects. And lastly, I didn't have much time, but I just told a rough about Open API in Azure function, right? Right. And Pradeep sir told more about the
Yeah,
community.
we
Yeah. So overall,
yeah
the
we
session
wanted
was
to yeah
nice. Yeah, nice one.
yeah
Okay.
we wanted to close the event by 4:30 p.m. local time. So we just closed it at the right time. We had to skip a few of our sessions, but yet I think it was important for us to start in the right time and close in the right time, the time that we had
Right.
we had decided on. Yeah.
And is it in Pradeep? Is it in general okay to have in-person events and so forth and meet up in terms of the pandemic situation?
Yes.
On
Yeah, there were there were we definitely ran Azure based meetups during the pandemic situations. Of course it was
Mhm.
not easy, because before pandemic we were all face to face. We were only thinking about because that was the standard. But then we just followed, I mean, based on the situation, right? And we could not just stop not doing anything because of the pandemic. So what we did was we thanks to Teams, and we leveraged on Microsoft Teams, and almost ran maybe at least half a dozen Azure events during that time.
Right.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think this is the second, or this is the third event which we did face to face after pandemic.
Okay. So
yeah.
it's
And
allowed
so
and
let me add. So last time I also attended Nepal Cloud Profession. That was the Azure. I gave on the O data, right? So yeah, so we conducted on the COVID time also for Global Azure. It was nice on that part also. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So when we're talking about community, because I one year when we did a global Azure event, I knew that I was so impressed. I didn't understand that there were so many community activists all over Nepal. You arranged that year, I cannot recall, it was like somewhere between 10 and 20 events around the country. Really,
Yep.
so many
Yep.
community events. So is the community strong in Nepal, and how do you keep it going? What do you guys do as community leaders to nurture your communities?
Yeah. So if I have to add something on this, definitely, like I said, definitely, being English speak because all the students are like uh, almost well versed in English language, so
Yeah.
the academics easily grasps the cloud computing platform, right? So our Azure community is not just the professional community, but it is beyond the professional community to the student community across the universities as well. So, like I'm sure you know, we have this Microsoft Student Partners Program, we have this Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program, and we heavily leverage these Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors to have them as the student leaders on campus to organize Global Azure event on campus as well. So most of the cases, out of those 25 events right in Nepal, uh, 20 22 events were run by student leaders on campus in different venues, right? But just a couple of them, other couple of Azure events were run by either Microsoft MVPs or other professionals in the industry. So
Right.
definitely, uh, yeah. I mean, this year we thought that we just collaborate together because we just wanted to have one Azure event in Kathmandu. So hopefully, I mean, if things change, yeah, I mean, depending on the situation, we would probably be thinking to have more in-person events organized by other local leaders as well.
Right. And so, do you feel that Microsoft gives you a lot of support in Nepal for working with your communities and for learning and getting into their technology?
Obviously, obviously. So we work very closely with Microsoft in Nepal as well. In fact, this event was also supported by Microsoft in Nepal.
Very good.
Today's event. So definitely, without Microsoft support in Nepal, it is not easy to run meetups, right? So yeah, we are thankful to Microsoft in Nepal as well.
Good. And so, if somebody wants to get ahead in the community and start activating themselves, and somebody wants to become one of the thought leaders of cloud in Nepal, how would they? What would they do?
So there are like multiple ways to go about. For example, one of the things like today when I spoke about being part of the community was at the end of the session was please, I mean if they are in a situation to join the community, host the event or come up as a speaker in the upcoming meetups, then definitely they are most welcome to come. And we have on our official website we have put up the call for speakers. They can join as a speaker and all, right? There's these things, right? But at the same time, Microsoft in Nepal is taking up some initiatives to help the educators in Nepal learn Azure fundamentals like Easy 900 exam. So in fact, after 2 weeks, I'm delivering Azure Easy 900 fundamental exams to 42 educators from 42 different colleges in Kathmandu. So
Wow,
basically, the reason why we are doing this is to increase the leaders and in Azure community and to so that they can further educate their students and grow the Azure community down the line. Yeah.
that's brilliant. So you're adding sort of trained professionals to sort of lead the pack, if you will. Uh, that's brilliant. I love
Yeah,
that.
and right, and all thanks to Microsoft in Nepal because it is Microsoft in Nepal who is supporting us in terms of the logistics and the refreshments that we need, the lunch boxes that we need in running these events. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's brilliant. And what's next? How often do you have your community events in Nepal? What's coming up?
Oh, I think we are going more than we wanted to because for the last couple of months we are having like one event at every month, which is not the pace we want to have because it's not easy to run one event every month. We probably we would reduce this count to to one event per quarter, or every 2 months we want to have one event. So yeah, we want to just focus more on the quality rather than the quantity of the meetups moving forward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Yeah,
let me talk about Tech Webinar Nepal. So we
yeah,
basically conduct a webinar on the monthly basis, right? So not on,
yeah,
we basically do mostly on the Microsoft technology, non-Microsoft technology also. So it is not that much of bias. So community is there, right? So some of the community do event 3 month, some of they do 1 year, right? But we are doing monthly one. So yeah, and the participation is also good. So lots of people are engaged on community and it is active here. So miss, the wish is that miss, if more people can join, they can get benefit from us.
Right.
That's only the main motto. Yeah.
That's great to hear. And how are you working? Because I know I visited some years ago, but I visited Nepal once, and I loved it. It's a beautiful place in many ways, and the people are quite gracious that I met. Everyone was wonderful. In the industry, I noticed there in Nepal that there were quite, not 50-50, of course, but there were quite many women in technology in Nepal that I noticed when I was there. What do you do to help, you know, those that are fewer in numbers, let's put it that way, right? To become more of them, right? Because I mean, everybody wants to have a good balance between everything in the industry,
yep,
and that's the best. So what do you do to help more women come on? Pradeep.
yeah. So one thing, that obvious thing that we do is we try to reach out to, for example, to potential female leaders who are either have just started working in the cloud industry, or someone who is already into the cloud industry, to come forward as a speakers. We prioritize them to be a speaker. Definitely, unfortunately, today we did not have a female speaker, but then our priority has always been giving space to the female speakers,
Mm.
female leaders. We collaborate we collaborate a lot with Girls in Tech Nepal. We collaborate with women in big data community in Nepal. So kind of we are trying different ways to bring these people into the community, to come forward, and have equal, at least equal, if not more, participation in the community. Yeah, that's one thing that we're doing.
Good. That's very good to hear. So we are going to start moving you out of this studio, but you can stay for a bit. We're going to move the next group of people into our studio. I want to thank you guys for volunteering to be with us for a bit today and telling us about your event in Nepal and what you have been doing. So we have a couple of people waiting in the wings that we can bring on set. That we are going to move from Nepal to another country with a name starting with N, but this will be Nigeria. So we're going to move over and talk to CE and Paul. You're here on screen now. So it is absolutely lovely to see you guys. How are you? And you need to unmute.
Yes. How are you? Once again.
So good, so good. It is. I'm very happy to have you guys with us. Thank you for joining us. We are now with the Azure Nigeria user group. Is that the right group?
Yes.
And so Azure in Nigeria. I know for a fact that there is such a massive potential in Africa when in this industry, in this technology industry of ours. And of course, there's I mean, I would assume that your challenges in Nigeria in training are tremendous because there are so many people that want to learn, and would be a huge challenge to grow a healthy community and grow learners in Nigeria. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Because the numbers in Nigeria are nothing like the numbers in Sweden. Sweden is a small country by comparison. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, the first thing we look at is how to create an healthy environment, especially when it comes to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we, we founded different user group, streamlined this user group to targeted areas. Um, and we know, as you said, we are over 100 million people across. We have over 36 states, and each of the states is just like if you have been to Ghana, the whole of Ghana, one of the states like that in Nigeria. And you can just imagine how we can spread our wings. So what we did was just to segment ourselves into different user group. Then we grow from there. Like for Azure, we have almost, because of diversity, we have almost 3 or 4 different buckets of Azure group. Now, each of them specialize on different area. Some of them specialize on the advanced infrastructure, uh, rolling out that template, training people, empowering people on that skill. Then we have other that specialize on bringing people from the fundamental, like what Paul is doing, ensure people empowered from the grassroots, making sure that they have all those understanding. And we also segment one of our Azure group to target the students because we know those are the future. So what we did was that we made up the community and we segment all those community. And within the community, there are other outshoots from each of the community that make up the Azure. So in terms of rolling out the training, it's very simple. We roll out from the grassroots, we push it, and the onboarding process to the ecosystem will be easy. So that is from my own point. I don't know whether Paul or David want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. So maybe you have the essentially, and just so you know, Magnus, the background to this. So the other two people that you have on the screen, those are like real foundational members of the community groups. I mean, Sheyi has been doing the work before the work became, cool, right? He's been in the trenches, so to speak, organizing the event when very few people knew what Azure was, and he's been doing the work. And Paul, during the pandemic, just took that to another level, and it was just fun time, setting all of this up. But yeah, I've got nothing to add. It's a growing community of people, very intelligent group of people. But one of the things that we're also doing is we're not just focusing on the cities. We're trying to take that to the grassroots, because as what Sheyi likes to say, the grassroots is where the talent is, right? So that's sort of like the way. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Paul, tell us about the event. Did you have a Global Azure event today? His picture seems frozen. Oh, here he is. I can't hear you.
Your mic is muted, I think.
No, it's not muted, but we can't hear you.
Okay, maybe when Paul is looking at that, we can talk about that. Yeah, so we did have an event today. So we had an event. We had 4 sessions in the event. We had 7 sessions in the event.
7
so
sessions,
yeah. So we had started with like the keynotes. So the session areas that are covered includes AI. We had sessions on data, which Mr. Sheyi did with Mr. Deji. We had sessions on security, which we had Tosin. An amazing lady that's been doing amazing things in the community led that session. We had sessions all the way to aspect of each other ones. So we had Terraform, DevOps, App Service, and all the other stuff. So we had about 7 sessions just in different areas and covering different levels of beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels.
And I believe did you have also a few sessions that were delivered from external people into your event, not only present speakers?
I'll let Mr. Sheyi take that.
Yeah, okay. Most of them, we had one lady from Ireland. She's a Tosin. She said she started from the community, and those are the parts of the testimony we are getting. The community building up people that are building up different business units across the world. So recently, she got a new role somewhere, which is out of the country. Now she's there, and she's giving back to the community. So we got people like that, and we have other people like someone like Sir Kofi from Ghana. a very dynamic security person. He helped in moderating and ensuring that event was superb. Yeah. So we
That's
have
great.
few people from Estana coming in to give their talk for
Yep.
Azure.
Okay, that's brilliant. And so, technology-wise, now there are only Azure data centers in Africa now. I mean, in South Africa, and that's pretty far from where you guys are.
Yeah.
And it's quite far actually. It's a very very big continent, and so what kind of data set? Which data centers would you guys be? Where do businesses put their applications if they are African companies in Africa? Where would they run their Azure services?
Maybe Paul. Paul is back. Paul can take that. Then we can just contribute.
Paul, we can't hear you. You'll have to check your
Your
device settings there. We see you, and we see your lips are moving, but
The permissions, maybe like the permissions for like this one.
browser permission or
or
device
maybe he
settings.
needs to just refresh the page. Maybe it will come up fine.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Okay, can you throw the question in again?
Yeah,
Maybe
Go
me and
ahead.
David we can just answer that. Yeah.
so
Where people would deploy their workloads, if they're like Nigerian based or West African based, where are they going to deploy their workloads if it's that? I'll say a lot of people are going to be using like the South African data center. But then it also varies. So some of the companies do have presence in Europe, they have presence in like North America, and they do
Right.
leverage some of those presence. So I'll say, like, at least from what I've seen working with other companies in the country and in West Africa, I'll say mainly the South African regions and the West Europe region seems to be the ones that come up
Yeah.
in sort of like my
Especially
interactions.
the UK West.
Yeah.
UK
Oh,
West.
really?
UK West.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. And
Yeah.
so, when it comes to edge compute, I like when you're running local workloads. Is that a common thing that you see that people do to ensure that they have their local compute? I don't know, in country or geographically close, if they want to avoid latency and so forth, doing edge computing, and then maybe backing over to some heavy or larger workloads in Azure Cloud. Is that another thing that people do?
Yes, they do that. Yeah, they do that. In terms of looking at the metrics, we still have large volume of people that still want content reside probably local, and
Yeah.
the funny part is that we have the compute power out there in Azure. So
Yeah.
most time they use the roaming or the remote version of their deployment to be there, while
Right.
the one that is very prosy to them, they prefer doing it local, so that the application can run local while they rely on Azure power to make it very remote and very, very universal for anybody anywhere to have access to it.
Right. That's great. And so, I'm sorry, I'm fiddling with my screen here. I shouldn't do that. I lost you guys for a second, but only visually, and now I see.
Okay.
All right. So, great. And let's see. Are we getting Paul back now? He's still talking, but we cannot hear you. We are so sorry. This is not working for you, Paul. Terribly sorry. Okay, so wait, where did everybody go? I lost everyone now. How's it going, Rick? Our people are coming back. Rick is fixing.
Okay.
And all right, there you are. Good. Okay, so what are you guys looking forward to now in terms of community and community events? What's coming on your calendar, and how would one get involved with you guys if somebody wanted to join you guys?
I'll probably let Mr. Sheyi
No, I want you to
cover
start
like
this time around.
okay, yeah, okay.
It's
So here's the
exciting,
thing. Yeah, it is super exciting because we're
Yeah.
going to be having our very first Azure Nigeria Community Conference, and it's going to be in person, live
No
in
way.
Lagos. It's going to be awesome. And
Awesome.
yeah, the excitement that's building around that, it's very interesting. I mean, Mr. Sheyi saw like from when we first started the plan with zero money in sponsorship to more than half of the money that's coming in sponsorship, and many more companies are lining up to get involved to support us, to help us to make sure that the event is successful. We have a set of around 30 community leaders that are involved from the preparation, from the events delivery, from the speaker planning. We have people that will be speaking internationally. So we have people that will be speaking internationally. We have we have Scott Enselman. You may know someone called Scott Enselman. He'll be delivering one of the keynote
Crazy.
sessions for us. We have what's it called? We have the Azure Nigeria, the Microsoft Nigeria manager or leader, country leader. So Ola Williams will also be delivering the second keynote for us. And Mr. Sheikh can probably talk about the rest, about whether we are going to be feeding people, whether we're going to have snacks for
Yeah.
them.
The excitement is that we have been longing to have a conference now where
course.
we try to showcase the talents, build the gap between international and the local, make sure that we have the grassroots onboarding to see what it looks like, not just as the Nigerian context, but as the world context. Now,
Yeah.
we also bringing in people like company like Xenox, TD Africa is one of the biggest partner we have in the ecosystem. They are sponsoring us there. They are all the way with us. We have partners that are coming across those local, international, saying they are with us here. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And one of the showcase we want to have in our conference is to have what we call Ask the Expert. People have been
Nice.
hearing about Azure. We're going to have a kiosk where we have people talk about Azure specifically. We're going to bring all the advocates to be there. We're going to bring the MVP to be there. And we're also going to have a kiosk where we have interaction with Microsoft himself, especially the local one, the ADC, all the spare of Microsoft that is coming into Nigeria to come and talk with the Azure community to let them know that they are with us. So it's going to be massive, and we're hoping to have almost 250 people physically in that conference.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you will have a great lineup, and you'll have a bunch of sponsors and attention, and are companies then lining up to kind of join and be present and find maybe their next employees during the conference as well. Is that what you're hoping for?
Yeah. And
Yes,
just to
part of it.
mention, we've actually had like a lot of success. So actually, some of the people that will be on some of the kiosks that Sheyi is talking about, they started in the community, they grew in the community, and about 3 of them just got hired this week, right, Mr. Sheyi? Just got
Yeah.
hired by Microsoft themselves this week. And we have multiple success stories of people that started in the community, they've grown, and they've got hired by major companies in the country. So
Across the
yeah,
world, not only Nigeria. Yeah.
that's true.
That is lovely, lovely, lovely to hear. Wonderful, actually. And so, which dates again are these events?
May 27, which is the virtual, it's an hybrid event. So the May 27 and May 28th this month.
Good, very good.
And,
Well, I wanted to join you guys this year, but hopefully, maybe next year we'll see about that.
We'll sort out our
okay.
sponsorship. We'll definitely sort out our sponsorship for next year, so we'll be able to fly in international speakers this time.
Yes, we are hoping to
The
have
sky
that.
is the limit, gentlemen, and,
Yes.
and you're doing some wonderful, wonderful community work for sure down there. And well, I say down because I'm so far north, right? Geographically down from where I am in Africa. All right, and so we are coming up at almost time to change the crew here. Not really, not yet. And we're in fact not. We also don't have the next guests in our back room. Scary. So again, with your an event for today, you how do you organize in your local community? What does it mean to organize an event where you are? How do you get people to come in, and how do you let people know about your events?
Yeah. So I'll start with like some part of that. So we do have a meetup group, which is sort of like where we gather together to disperse information to the community. So if you're a member of like the Azure Nigeria meetup group, if we're setting up events, you get notified for the event. If we're setting up events locally, more local to you, you also get that. So you know you can connect with people locally to attend the event. So that's sort of like a primary way. We're also a big user of WhatsApp. So WhatsApp and Telegram. So we have that's being used by members of the community to do just private mentorship, right? So we have people like Mr. Shea, we have Raphael, we have both male and female, and just everyone present to provide mentorship to others. So regardless of your level, you'll find someone that you can connect to, someone that can say, you know what, I've been through this journey before. I can help you to walk through to the next level. So big user of Meetup, big user of WhatsApp, big user of Telegram. Mr. Shea, any other part in
Yeah,
terms of how
I think the build up of this has been way back 7, 8 years, where we had this vision that as trainers that we want to have a way to reach out to the community. So we segmented it into different product group. Now it has now grown that each of these product group has built up several other product groups. So when we want to pass information, it makes it very, very easy to move across the lane. Now we have a group that is for M365. We want to have something in Azure. We know everybody is related now. We have a group for the Power Platform. Each of this now, they are built up. And I think for Azure, we're running up to 2,000 in terms of user group. And Power BI, Power Platform, they're running above that. And M365 is a little low. Data and AI within 200 or 300. Now, if combination of everyone coming together makes it easy for us to easily pass this information. And we had an event last December, and we have over 5,000 online. And that's just one of the events we have. We have the one during COVID-19. We have over 3,000 online. And that has been, and we can tell so many stories now. People being empowered, people getting job, people producing, creating application that is running, and industry are now using it locally.
That's also incredible to hear, and there's a seems to be a very healthy growth going on in terms of both technology and community.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That is
the bond is so seamless, and because we all saw this as a need for the continent, and bringing everybody with the same mindset that we want to make a change, and that is what brought about this. And the passion is there, the excitement is there, and people are giving everything to make this happen, and that's just the great news here.
Yeah. Well, that's
And you can also see like that growth, that impact of that growth itself. Like I believe when it first started, I think it was like we had one MVP in Nigeria, and then she became like an MVP, and she has just taken that on, and now we probably have more than 15. Mr.
Yes,
Sheyi, right?
yeah,
more than 15 like MVPs. That their work has been recognized by Microsoft as contributing exceptionally to the community. So that's
right.
Just
well, that just tells us the tremendous potential of a country like Nigeria, right? There's so much potential, and there's so many people that everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to, I guess, both make a life for themselves, obviously, right? But also to contribute and build on your continent as such, right, and your country, and make it great. We're going to move over to our next group of speakers, but I want to ask you one more final question before we leave, and see who has the answer to that one. If for anything at all for Global Azure next year, what would you like Global Azure to contain, or something that happens with Global Azure next year? What would that be?
In person,
In
in
person.
person, in person, in
Yes,
person.
in person.
Yeah, for me,
Absolutely.
yeah, for me,
I'm sorry.
I'll say in person and distributed. So like now we're doing like the main one, like virtual, like to have in person, but in person in Lagos, in person in Abuja, in person
In
in Osun
person, Port
State,
Harcourt,
in person
in
in Port Harcourt,
in Kaduna,
in
and
Kaduna.
every
Yeah,
area of Nigeria. Yeah,
That
yep,
would be
that'll be awesome.
tremendous.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I hope to be able to join you guys in person and visit at some point. Thank you
yeah.
so much for being with us, and thank you for being inspirational leaders of your community in Nigeria. Have a great continued day, and we will let you guys go and greet our next guest. So now we're going to go over to our next community. We're skipping continents here. So we started out in Nepal, in Asia. We jumped down to Africa, to Nigeria. And now we find ourselves in a car
Yes.
in Brazil.
Yeah, but I'm in Netherlands, but my friends also are in Brazil. But I'm sorry, they has problem with internet
Oh
connectivity.
wow, that's too bad. Okay, well we wanted to be also live in Brazil, but how fortunate then that you are, Albert, in Netherlands. Do you live in the Netherlands?
Yes, I'm living here in Netherlands, but we have this community from Brazil, and all the time I try to organize some events on it.
Well, that's great, and I guess the cloud would be, it's global, right? And it's everywhere, and I guess organizing community events for your friends back home or in Brazil would work from the Netherlands.
Yes, yes. We have these challenges. Science are moving for Europe, but all the time we try to talk together to, I don't know, organize some events. Global Azure Boot Camp. We organize Azure Boot Camp for a few years, and from here, Netherlands and Brazil, it's so nice to present this event.
Good. And you have, like you said, organized for a few years. So how is that? How has it been different for you when it was this pandemic that unfortunately hit us? Yeah, that's been bad, no?
Yeah, it's great to participate for this kind of event because we meet with different people, but now it's more virtually. It's not. I liked people. I like to talk with people, and then I will learn with you. And you can learn with me. It's so nice. I made really friends from Global Azure Bootcamp. But yeah, this year I had an opportunity to organize another one in Netherlands and in presential, and it was nice to meet with people.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand that. So tell us about the community in which city again? Sorry, in Brazil is
Belo
that?
Horizonte, Belo
Right,
Horizonte.
right. And tell us about the Azure community there. Is it a strong community? What do you do to raise awareness and get people excited?
Yes, we have this community from Brazil. For example, I have a SQL Saturday or SQL BH, and then Code FC. It's my community from Brazil. And yeah, we have a lot of people subscribing our channel and discuss about Azure, about the architecture. The community is so how can I say, like a lot to participate for events from Azure, from Microsoft things, and we have this big community in Brazil, in Belo Horizonte, of course.
Right, right. And so you ran an event. Was it today you had your community event for Global Azure?
We run this event on in Brazil on last yesterday on Friday, and then here in Netherlands on Thursday. Yeah,
Okay, all
this
right.
week.
So you're done already. Well, there is,
Yeah.
and that's also for our listeners. There is about we're still coming into the time zones to the west, right? So we're still coming into South American time zones and so forth. And I assume I think there was about somewhere between 50 and 70 more sessions that will still happen during this year's Global Azure. A couple of years ago, we only had the one day, the Saturday, just one day that was the day for Global Azure. But in order to be more inclusive and make it more flexible for people, some people cannot do a community event in the weekend, some cannot do it on a weekday, and various reasons. It is now 3 days, which is huge. And you'll see here on screen our numbers with so many sessions, so many speakers, and so many communities across all continents that are joining Global Azure. And again, for your event, how large is your community in terms of speakers, in terms of, what were you talking about? What's exciting for you guys?
Yeah, for speakers in Brazil, we had a lot of speakers from my region and then from the other regions from Brazil. About in our community about 40 speakers, but this year we just with three new speakers to participate for this event from Brazil, from Belo Horizonte. But here in Netherlands, we start to create the new community with a friend from Brazil also, and then we start this community, the Cloud Explorers community, and here in Netherlands. Yeah, it's so nice.
So
And we
it's a new
start this,
community.
yeah,
All
a
right.
new community.
Try to
Yeah.
find that. I think Rick is trying to find your community. Where he's searching in the background for your community. Where can we find it? Is it a meetup community or?
Yeah, now we have just YouTube channel. We start to create this YouTube channel.
So
But
this
oh, we
the
have,
Cloud Explorers on
yeah, the
screen.
Cloud Explorers. Yes, the Cloud Explorers. And we
Wonderful.
are yeah, we try to organize this one. Now it's just me and my two friends, one from Brazil and another one from here from Netherlands. But yeah, we need to present the Azure things around the world. It's so nice to participate for these events.
Absolutely. Well, it's brilliant to have you with us here today. So, in terms of your plans going forward for your community, how will you organize and what's your next event coming up?
Yeah, we have been working on our community every week. Two weekly, we have live events from my YouTube channel called FC, and now we have videos per week. And these videos we are talking about now for well-architected framework, and then we try to guide the people to know more about Azure, to know more about architecture, network. But all the time during the weeks, we have this some initiatives to propagate Azure and of course to make the community big.
Good. Okay. And so, what is it like in Brazil? Because it's far away from me, I wouldn't know. What is it like in Brazil for people that are learning and students that are coming into the industry now? How can they begin to appreciate and be included in the community?
Yes, most of the time my friend Osana Jordan are in Brazil, right? And then as soon as we organize some kind of initiative from universities from Brazil, Osana, Sulamita Dantas, our friends, our speakers, goes to these universities or some companies to present meetups, to present about our community and different subjects from Azure and Microsoft. And we are using these kind of situations to growth our community in Brazil.
Right. And
And I
our
help
company,
from,
yeah, sorry, our
oh, and I
companies
help from
uh,
here.
are companies interested in supporting your community activities? You
Yes,
think?
yes.
Yeah.
These years we have from Netherlands, where we had IPAN company here from Netherlands to help us to provide a space to make this event on yesterday to on Thursday, and then in Brazil we have different companies partners help us to provide this event presential or from internet or remotely. But we have a lot of partners for this network.
Okay. That's great. That's great. And when it comes to the technology horizon, what is it that people are interested in Brazil? What are they working on in terms of technology? Is there anything in particular? Do you feel that people are using a lot of infrastructure, pre-cloud technology, or are software services in terms of SaaS solutions is coming in, or what's the story?
Yeah, now we have been working with some people from Brazil, but I can see that these movements to move to the cloud more based from the infrastructure things, infrastructure as code, the network range, IP range, and so on. But these people from our community wants to know more about Azure and to change some careers for cloud. And the difference is not just about development, but most of the time I talk it with infrastructure people, operation people to move to the Azure.
Yeah, so a lot of migrations, I take it, and trying to get ready for modernizing applications.
Yeah, exactly. Modernized application. Because of that, we are planning just to show in our YouTube channel about the well architected framework.
Yeah. Okay. And when it comes to the Global Azure event, you mentioned that you have organized multiple years for Global Azure. Um,
Mhm.
I hope it's an appreciated event that we do. I mean, we all do it together, so everybody have to pat each other's backs on this one because
Yeah.
everybody's doing it, right? You appreciate the event, I take it, and you will be joining again next year, hopefully.
Oh, of course. I love this event. I made really friends from this event, and next year I'm here again.
Brilliant. And what would you like Global Azure to do, to become, or what can we add, or what other fun thing can we do with Global Azure?
I think this interaction between different community around the world, if you have this one live event from different countries for different speakers around the world, there will be nice to create this network between the people. It's our global Azure Bootcamp, not just only regional.
Of course. So exchange of sessions and speakers would be something that you would be interested in.
Exactly. An official, like a MS Build, an official event, but we have the regional events, but of course, one main event with different people and speakers around the world.
That sounds very, very interesting. So, anything else you want to call out to the audience while you have the microphone?
Yeah, I would like to share with you. We have a community from Brazil, but now we start to create English content from YouTube. We have a Code FC from my YouTube channel and Ozana from our community, and we'll share with you different perspective from development and operation. And now we are talking about architecture. Feel free to subscribe in our YouTube channel.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I was thinking that we are going to go back to our studio for a bit, and we're going to say very much thank you for being with us. And unfortunately, your friends who are actually in Brazil were not able to connect, but we'll get to them next time, internet willing and all. So thank you for being with us, and please have a safe drive home, or wherever you are going there with your car. And I will
Yeah,
talk to you again sometime soon.
thank you so much for this opportunity. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Rick, you're back there, right? So
Sorry, I'm hiding. What do you need, sir?
I just wanted to take a breath and appreciate these wonderful, wonderful communities that we have spoken to. I'm very excited about this. It is a little chaotic to get people to jump in and out, and sound may not always work and stuff. But I think overall, the power of being able to go to Nepal, to Nigeria, and to Brazil. I forgot again which city we were supposed to be in there. I'm sorry about that, but it's brilliant.
Yeah, I've got to say it's so great to see so much enthusiasm as well. I mean, here in the UK, events are 10 a penny, and I think we I don't know, we sort of we're bored of them almost, right? There's so many there, we take them for granted. And it was wonderful to hear our friends from Nepal and Nigeria and Brazil as well. The level of enthusiasm, the excitement, it's great. It makes it all worthwhile as to why we do what we do, right?
It really, really does, and I appreciate the input we got to see about how can we even more. Let's use that word cross-pollinate in this case in terms of the speakers and the content and the knowledge sharing across the planet, across the globe. The cloud is ubiquitous, right? And so should our knowledge sharing be in this community, I think.
I think it's really important to remind people that, you and I are on the organizing committee for Global Azure, but we really put the umbrella together. The events on the ground, all of these great communities around the world, that's not us, right? That's people working hard in their own countries. All of those 440 some speakers have given their own time and they produce their own content. It's nothing to do with us. We deserve no praise for that. And it's fantastic to watch.
Not at all. We're just so happy to be able to put a little ignition together that ignites everyone doing it at the same time. But other than that, we are just answering emails. Literally, that's what we do.
So you've been asking people, Magnus, if they had one wish, how would they change Global Azure next year? So I'll give you the same wish. How would you like to change Global Azure next year?
I would like lots and lots of sponsors to come in next year. We're going to be working hard on that now to see. I loved it when before the pandemic, when we had in-person events and we had wonderful sponsors. I'll mention the largest one because it's the obvious one, and then I won't mention anyone else because I'll be unfair. But I think we can all just say Microsoft has been our largest supporter, of course. Why wouldn't they? It's their technology we're talking about. And the level of sponsorship that we had from them when we were able to literally distribute free lunch and literally distribute free Azure around the world as sponsorship. And then, of course, many other software companies and the like who were joining to give access to their software, extended trials and various and giveaways of licenses to their software to the community.
I think we should call out actually. So Serverless 360 have made some offers available to anyone who is tuning in and watching Global Azure. And Pact, our friends at Pact Publishing, have also got offers for getting hold of free books. So
that's
we're really
.net/sponsors, right?
Yes, absolutely. GlobalAzure.net/sponsors, and you can take advantage of those. And Microsoft have put a link up so people who are watching can get hold of the Azure Heroes Learner Badge, I think, isn't it?
Yes, Badger badge, a badge with a badger. And you have one there. Here's a badger, and those everyone can claim those as a learner of Azure. You can get a learner badger, not that physical one, but at least a digital badger in this case, and that's great as well.
Okay, so we're coming on just a minute till you need to welcome your next guest. So can I go in the back room so I can actually manage what's going on? You can go in the
back room, and I will summarize, and then I will call our next guest. So we did a segment here where we ran around the world, and by the power of technology, we were able to bounce over 3 continents. And I'm a little bit surprised there that one of our guests was, in fact, also in Europe. So 4 continents, including Europe in this case. That was a lovely walk over all of communities everywhere. And now we're going to have 2 more segments. One with the student ambassadors, who's going to be the last segment of this live stream. And before that, we're going to have a very important conversation about women in technology. And therefore, I want to welcome Edu Abbasi to join me on the set. Welcome.
Thank you, Magnus. I've been
How are
sort
you
of I've
doing?
been listening in. I've been
Yeah.
listening for the past 10 minutes, and then I sort of met the other person talking, and I would say this is very interesting. It's my first time here, and now I'm asking myself, why are you not part of this amazing community?
Well, I mean, Global Azure is the power of every community around the globe that are excited about Azure technology, and then added up together. And the sum of that total is more than the parts, the more than the wonderful individual communities. It's a great event, and we are so happy to be able to instigate this every year, and the excitement around it you have seen with your own eyes. It's great. Let's talk about you.
Fantastic.
Welcome
So,
to our show. So you are now, where are you, by the way, physically in the world?
okay, so right now I'm currently in Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm
Yeah.
dialing in from Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, great. And you have a background. Do you still work at Microsoft, or
Yes, I
you?
still do. No,
Yeah,
I still do. So I have a background in software engineering and a master's in some really fancy stuffs, artificial intelligence and the like.
wow.
And this is in a time when that was not a thing. So this is over 10 years ago. And
Yeah,
then currently I work as in Microsoft. I manage the startup ecosystem for Microsoft across West and East Africa. And then I'm also very passionate about having a lot more women into technology. So I also run an organization called Wenters. And primarily that's why I'm here.
that's definitely why you are here. But I mean, so you don't have enough to do with just doing the startup communities and just working for Microsoft. You also run a women in community, women in tech community. So, you don't have enough hours in the day, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. And in addition to that, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two. So if you add
That's the most important
yes,
one.
that's the most important one.
But the second most important, I'm sure, is for your passion to grow the presence of, well, more and more women, more and more fantastic technologists who are also in fact women in our industry. So tell us about, how did that get started?
Right. Okay. So, very interesting. Again, when I talked about my background, that I have a background in software engineering. So I think pretty much my love for getting more women into the technology field started right from college. So I had gone in to study software engineering, and I remember clearly in my class of software engineering, we were only two females. And so
Wow.
it was it was like, and then the second female is my best friend today. I mean, we had no reason not to be best of friends because we were just two of us in a class filled with men. However, and then for me, interestingly, after that, I had moved right from undergrad straight to do my master's. And then in my master's, I would say we actually even had a good number of women and men in class. And because we were having a bit of a shared courses, so while there were a lot of specialization, so we were having a lot of shared courses with other departments. But at the time when I had finished school and I had returned back to my continent, to my country, and then I joined Microsoft. Interestingly, I would say kudos to Microsoft. It was a good number of women in the organization. So even the feeling I had while I was in college was very different when I started the workforce. But interestingly, and I'm glad that I'm speaking to the Azure community. So my first job at Microsoft was I was responsible for the cloud penetration of Azure in Nigeria. And this is when Azure had just when Azure as a product was launched. So I was the first employee in Microsoft to drive cloud penetration. And this is pretty much talking to Azure. So my day-to-day job at that time was pretty much getting into enterprise accounts and going into conversations with CIOs, EDs of ITs, why cloud was the way forward. And I still remember always having to go through this very interesting analogy, looking back and reminding them that back in the day my mom was an executive secretary where you do the whole typewriter shorthand of really back in the days, and now see how that evolved into what we call the computer system today and all. So I remember always trying to use this analogy with C-suite people and saying, you need to migrate. But something that was very, profound for me was that, that comfort zone for me was when I get back to the office. So when I get back to the office primarily, and then I'm meeting, okay, there's a lot of female colleagues, but when I'm out there and I'm having these conversations with CIOs, EDs of ITs, they were all men. And then a
Yeah.
couple of times I've had to be in the boardroom in our customer ecosystem. I'm just realizing, oh, I'm the only female right here. So I had learned to sort of grew my own muscle, to ignoring and be like, okay, you're still irrespective of whether there are men in the room, but you need to own your voice. And so for me, it was Wentworth in itself came about, right about after I had all these experiences, and I'm like, what could be my contribution to this to make a difference? And what happened right after that is I started being part of so many initiatives across the country and even across the continent around getting a lot more women into STEM, getting a lot more women into technology, going right there into high school, to be an ambassador of why women should be in tech or women should get into STEM. So something I also noticed was there's a lot of this initiative, which was really, really fantastic and really good. But I didn't quite see that translate to the number of women we had in our my customer ecosystem, in our partner ecosystem at Microsoft, or within the technology ecosystem. And so for me, I sort of just felt there is a missing puzzle here, and quite like that. So it's more. So I felt there is a leaky pipe. So there's something pushing more women into STEM, and then that's not necessarily translating to the number of women that we're finding in the workforce. And so with research and with curiosity, I sort of dug into, and I was like, okay, maybe I can fix that missing puzzle. And then for me, that missing puzzle was around the power of mentorship. And primarily that's why Wentworth was birthed. So Wentworth is an organization that is focused on mentoring women and getting a lot more women into technology through mentorship. So having a woman who's advancing her technology career, mentor an upcoming woman, or mentor that final year computer science student in college that is looking to get into tech. And this is really soft skills specific, the kind of things that you are not otherwise taught in school, but it stares you in the face when you start a job. Yeah. So in summary, that's the story around how Winters came to birth.
That's a very inspirational story indeed. And you were mentioning how few women, you were only two in your class, right? And I have to honestly say, so I was when I was studying, this is now also quite a few years ago. Let's not talk about how many, but when I studied, it was similar. I had a similar experience as well. It was basically in my class, wall to wall men everywhere, and then maybe a few, two or possibly three women in a class. And after the first semester, they never came back. So basically, then it was mostly almost entirely men. And that is a terrible misalignment that we have to, of course, address. And I'm very happy that you are doing that. And I think that the notion of having mentorship as kind of like a support system, that there is a guidance and an inclusiveness, right? That
Right.
to show over time, not only just saying hello, very welcome, anyone can come and join, and then nothing, right? If there's nothing, that follows up, that the women will be scared away and they will run away again and not come back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say pretty much that's the puzzle that we're looking at, that we're trying to fix at Wentworth. Because again, when we look at it as, it's very interesting to have, let's get a lot more women into STEM, let's get a lot more women into technology. But there's also a lot of things that will stare them in the face as they start off that journey. So while we're saying, yes, their technology career is really fantastic, but there are the salient things that you're never taught in school around. I mean, if I was to mention a couple at the top of my head, nobody teaches you how to do presentation. Nobody teaches you how to communicate or even how to personally brand yourself if you're someone that is a customer facing person. And so our approach towards the mentorship is also around, and I mean, if you would agree with me, there's a whole lot of other things beyond career that a woman have to navigate, from being a mother to being a wife and all of that. And I think something we've also realized is that as we see a lot of women, start off the career and maybe get into motherhood journey, it's the struggle is a lot more. And
Yeah.
so having someone who's gone through that before, who is probably just sharing with you how the structures she had to put in place or how she was able to navigate that journey. I think with we personally as an organization, as Wentworth feel, the more we have that, the higher the chance of having these people who've been advised to come into tech, the higher the chance of having them survive it, stay true to it, and move on to the next and to the next thing.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense. That you would have the people that um, have taken this journey as you describe it, right? Um, because it is a complicated one, and I'm a parent myself, but obviously I'm not a mother, right? But I'm a parent myself, and I know some of those struggles about balancing life, of course, as well as any parent would. I have seen some of my friends in this industry leave the industry when they became parents, and the only ones that was true for, they were women, not men. The men would have a child and come back, and many women would have a child and leave and not come back in the industry, and that's such a waste. So when you are talking about, you were saying soft skills, right? So again, what kind? How would you? Let's, if a woman was coming into the industry now, training a student, learning learning all about technology and getting ready for a career in technology, how would you then support this person to find their rhythm, find their happy place to stay in this business? What would you do in terms of bolstering them with soft skills, as you
Right.
mentioned?
Absolutely. So maybe I'll walk you through the way we run it at Winters. So, the way we structured at Winters is, so we've sort of divided this mentorship. So first of all, we are a curriculum-based mentorship based on cohort. Something we've also noticed over time is that a lot of people struggle with mentorship because they're like, someone comes to you and says, "I want you to mentor me," and then you start mentoring the person, and then you're sort of asking yourself, at which point does this mentorship end? Right? How long
Okay.
does this how long does this journey exist? And I also feel sometimes even the mentees could take advantage of, oh, this is my one-stop shop for anytime I have a problem, I need to ring you. You owe me 1 hour
Oh,
of my
okay.
time. Yeah. So what we've done is that we have put up sort of like a curriculum-based mentorship, and our mentorship are in batches of what we call cohorts. And so we have sort of splitted this into three aspects: what we call the We Discover cohort, the We Accelerate cohort, and the We Lead. So the We Discover cohort are for women who are in their final year, between their final year in school and then 1 to 2 years in their career. And basically, what that does is that we get women who have over 4 years of experience mentor those ones. So you're in final year college student, right to you're at first year, your second year in your job. Now, the We Accelerate cohort is for women who've been in their career for like 4 years and are soon rapidly going to go into middle management positions, for instance, or even middle management individual contributor, but high individual contributor type position. And so what we do is that we get women who have over 10 years of experience in that industry to mentor those ones. And then we have what we call the We Lead cohort. The We Lead cohort is for women that are looking to get into leadership or senior leadership positions and are being mentored by the ones who are already there. And so the way we go about it, I would say in the past, for instance, 2 weeks ago, we just concluded on one of our first We Discover cohort for this year, and this had over 1,000 women in attendance, and it was a curated program for a period of 6 weeks. So everything is curated. There is a weekly team. So we use the buzzword mentors and mentees. It practically just mentors and mentees, right? But we use mentors and mentees. So basically, your mentor puts in 1 hour paid week for the mentee, and there is so for even for people who haven't done mentorship before, there is a curated curriculum where week one, this is the theme, this is the expected outcome, and embedded into that. Now, what we are also doing is our mentorship is not technology focused. Not to say we don't put technology as part of it, because Honestly, there's a whole lot of technology resources that are out there for people that want to literally get skilled up. But what we're saying is, our approach is we're typically telling to the mentors, what would you have told your younger self? So think of yourself 3 years ago. What is that thing that stared you in the face that you were saying, you know what, at the point you thought of dropping off, I'm not going to do this. That's what we want you to impact. And so so we use that mantra to build a curriculum, right? And so the curriculum
Oh,
has weekly themes. And in between those themes, we plug in what we call soft skills training. So every cohort has specific soft skills training that are being taken by experts across the world. So, for instance, for the just concluded one, we had a soft skills training on personal branding. We had one on presentation, and then we had one around imposter syndrome. And it was being handled by best of the best speakers in the world in this subject matter. And so they sort of work you through, and this fits directly into what the curriculum has. So that's the way we structured. It's a structured mentorship program, and it's in batches. But what's something that we also do for communities is we also take on mentorship opportunities for communities. For that particular one, we work with the community based on what works. But for the one we run out of mentors, it's a curated program. So there's a time when an application is open and you apply to be part of it, and there's a time where the application closes, and then we have a time frame. It's more like a 6 weeks type classes, but it's a 1 hour pay week connect with your mentor. Yeah.
wow. Well, I appreciate the like you said, the start and the stop thing, right? What is the
Mhm.
expected scope and commitment from both the mentor and the mentee, right? What are
Yeah.
you supposed to be doing so that you know that it has a start and that it has an end, and that it has some structured, organized content of expected things that you would be doing together.
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely.
that is a very smart way of doing it. I've never thought about that before, and of course, you have given this a lot of thought. But it's a brilliant way of doing it. So I appreciate that a lot. And so does that? How big is Wentors now? And I mean, are you worldwide, global? What are you trying to achieve, or where are you now on your journey?
Okay, so interesting. I think we've been an organization that is just shy of 2 years in few months. So we're almost 2 years old. We're global, so we do have our community members are all across the world. We have people for out of Lagos, out of Kenya. We have people as far out of Australia, New Zealand, from America. So we have a lot of Europeans. So we're a global community because mostly our programs are being are being done virtually. We have a community size of close to 4,000 women globally. So far, we've impacted about 4,000 women through soft skills training, and even we do run some tech courses when we're not in cohort. And then in the mentorship itself, we've had over 1,000 women who has gone through one-on-one mentorship with people who are advanced. And I would tell you the stories that have come out of there has been extremely phenomenal. Right. So and we're growing. We have we have some really crazy bold ambition. We're looking to hit millions in few years. But yes, but
And
first,
yeah, go ahead.
right.
You were
No,
saying millions.
no, I was saying that, I mean, we have some really bold ambitions. We're looking to hit like millions
Mm.
in a few years. Again, because we feel the number of women that have for us to have an equal, technology ecosystem, it's a lot. It's a lot of millions to go for our,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And so we're looking to really ramp up and cover it up. But at the moment, we're like 4,000, and this has been in less than 2 years.
That's still very, very, very good. And let me ask you this then. What is it that you need the most to grow your organization? I'm assuming you need wenters and wentees, of course. You need willing teachers and willing students. Absolutely. I'm sure that those exist. You need to find them, I'm sure, is a challenge, both sides of the story. But what is it that you guys need the most? How would someone support you, and which kind of supporters are you looking for?
Fantastic. So there are two things we need the most. We need sponsorships. One, and it's secondly, secondly, we need a lot of female mentors. So I mean female mentors, so mentors. So we need a lot of mentors. So what we've noticed is that per time that we push out an appli and that we open up a cohort, we literally have times 10 the number of wenties to mentors.
Oh,
So
okay.
so just putting those numbers into perspective for the cohort that just closed, we had close to 2,000 women apply across the world to be mentored. This just showing that there's a lot of eagerness of people wanting. I want to be under someone's tutelage. I want to, I want to learn. I have a lot of challenge. And then we had about 200 people registered to mentor, and so it was an extremely struggle on who gets the chance. So it's more like saying we had a 10%, 10 to 100%. And so we compensated the other people with a lot of soft skills training and all of that. So two things that mentors need the most: sponsorship and a lot of
Mhm.
mentors, women who have experience in the technology ecosystem to just register to be part of it and just impact the younger generation or impact someone who would otherwise have dropped out of tech. But with your advice and with your leadership or with your guidance, you would be able to
Mm.
make a career out of technology. So those are the two things we need the most.
Brilliant. And let's see if we can make the Wentors banner appear down below. Ta-da! Look at that. And so
Got it. Got it.
if you wanted to sign up as or get in touch with you as a sponsor, you would go to the site and there's a way to reach you in case you
Sure.
want to. And the
Sure.
sponsorship, a sponsor is then a sponsoring company or something like that who wants to.
And then if you want to sponsor as an individual, why not? Yeah. But yes, and then I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you think your organization can work with us, more than happy. And something that we also do is we also do a lot of recruitment drives for organizations that are looking to get more women into their environment or are looking to meet their gender quality goals and stuff. So we also do, because again we have a portfolio of skilled up women who are also looking for jobs. So we can also work with you on a recruitment drive and open up our recruitment portals to you. Again, for us, it's all about bringing value to these women and helping them grow and even helping them find the next opportunity. So if you're or if you're listening to us right now, you're like, oh, I will be more than happy to work with this woman. Please drop me a LinkedIn message and I would be right in your inbox.
Brilliant. That's
I'll,
wonderful.
I'll be right in your inbox.
And,
Yeah.
and so that takes care of sponsors. Let's bring in many of those. And then what makes a good mentor? And do people as mentors, do they feel imposter syndrome themselves? Maybe that's why they're not showing up, and they think that they cannot do it. What makes a mentor?
So I think for us, primarily what we have done is, as I say, we have tried to democratize mentorship. And we're saying to every woman that if you have up to 4 years of experience, actually, the truth is that if you have a year or 2 years of experience, there's definitely something in there that you can, there's a knowledge in there that you can share with someone who hasn't walked through that part.
Yeah.
And so we even with our mentors, what we do is that we work closely with them. We guide them on how. So we've had a lot of people finish and said, oh, this was my first mentorship. And I thought I was just going to pass, but it was an absolute wonderful experience. And they come back to do it and do it over again. Something we also do through the mentorship, and which we also really found it to be very effective, is that we our platform at Winters, for the mentorship in itself, we do match people based on personality. So personality comes up a high percentage to how people are being matched. So for instance, if I was to share, right, if I look at myself and I said I'm more of an introverted person, howbeit I'm a very audible and a very person, but you can easily mistake me to be, oh, she's an extrovert, she's an outgoing person. I'm that person that likes to be indoors on a weekend, go under my duvet and watch Netflix. But now when I look at myself and when I look at my career journey, I would say my career growth has not been one that has been catapulted by necessarily networking with people in a pub or in a club. Not to say that, but it's just this is my personality. And so if I was to take on a Wenti, what would typically happen is we as part of the registration process, you probably go through what we call a personality test, because we believe that when you have similar personalities, it's easy for you to impact your learnings on the person, bearing in mind that the learnings here are, what would you have told your younger self, what would you have done differently 3 years ago? So if so if you if you're trying to impact somebody with a different personality, for instance, you might find pushback. Person will be like, no, this is not my person. If I also get on a mentor that probably says, well, you have to, be out there, you have to, go out on a Friday because you need to connect with your senior colleagues. And then for me, it could have been something that is a bit of a struggle, right? Because that's not my personality. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the ways that I can grow in my career. And so we're also very big on that personality matching. And this over time we've seen to be a soft landing for both the mentors and the mentees. So you get into the room with somebody and just like, oh, there's a whole lot that we have in common. And then for us, boom, we've nailed it on the first thing around the relationship, and then it goes on and on. But for any woman out there that wants to mentor and is thinking, oh, I probably have an imposter, I would say just register. We got you. We're going to help you through that process, and we're going to work with you. We're going to handhold you. And if it's something that you genuinely want to do, after the process, you will feel fulfilled that you did it. And again, we have loads of soft skills training on imposter syndrome that are taken by experts across the world. So yes.
So as a mentor, you will probably grow as well as the mentee. You want to help someone, but by the act of helping someone, you might and probably grow yourself. So I don't know if you've noticed down below there are several women students in the audience listening very intently to you talking about women in technology. And a thing that I appreciate almost the very most here when you are talking so many things, but one that stands out for me is the notion of thinking that what if you could tell something to your younger self? What if you could go back and say, listen, Edo Abasi, what the hell? This is what you need to focus on. and I think those things are the best, right? Where actually there is a mentor in everyone. Everyone has experiences, and if the fact that you are here in technology working and you are a woman, already there you have so much to tell a younger student who is coming into this industry.
Sure, I agree.
That's absolutely wonderful. So, and we are actually going to transition soon over to talk to a lot of students. So do continue watching the stream, and you'll see a group of fantastic young student ambassadors that we are going to talk to. Anything final to say to there's actually multiple ladies looking back at us from the behind the scenes. The audience can't see them yet, but we will bring them on. Any final
yeah, absolutely.
That you have for them? Anything final to say?
I mean, for the student, sure, especially for the student ambassadors, I would say well done for even volunteering to be a student ambassador. Is the first step, and I would say Wentworth is your favorite plug as you look into finishing school and getting into the real tech and getting into the customer environment and practicing all the things that you've learned out of the Global Azure network, and be very intentional about the networks that you create and about the communities that you're part of. And I'm very sure that your engagement with the Global Azure team is going to be beautiful, and it's going to catapult you to the next stage of your career. But thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Magnus, and the whole Global Azure team. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming on with us today and talking about Winters. And I hope that I will speak to you again soon at some point. And have a continued good day.
Thank you.
And so now, as our final segment for today, I'm a little bit nervous now. I'm a little bit excited because there are all these students looking back at me on the screen, and this is going to be fun and probably a little bit chaotic, because now, ladies and gentlemen who are on the stream and everyone who is watching this recording, we are going to let the student ambassadors take over. And so here we go. plenty of students coming in. Wow, you look completely brilliant. Welcome. Welcome to Global Azure. You are live. So, um, exciting. I wanted to talk to you guys about the Student Ambassador Program, and I wanted to see how you guys are doing and what you have been doing for Global Azure and so on and so forth. And I will try to call you out because there's so many of you here, and I would like to hear from you all if at all possible and talk to you a little bit. And so I suggest that when you say your first thing here, you also tell us a little bit about quickly who you are and where you are and what you are doing and so forth. So let's get this show on the road. I have been in Azure for a while, and again, maybe let's not comment on how many years, but I have something here that I can show you guys. Um, as an expert of Azure, these are my Azure MVP trophies. So I have been an Azure MVP for since the beginning of Azure, right? So it's a long time, and just consider what you were doing 12 years ago, um, and we can start talking a little bit about age, yeah. So Azure is now huge, right? And I cannot imagine what it's like to be a student coming into technology now, looking at something like cloud technology, trying to figure out what the heck is this, and what does that feel like? What is that like for someone coming into technology now, to start learning about something as huge as the cloud? And I go first to Navika. You're the top center person here. How is technology treating you?
Hi, Magnus sir. First of all, thank you for having me, and everyone. Hi to everyone who's watching us. So I am Navika Chauda, and I'm my fourth year student pursuing Bachelor's of Information Technology, and I'm from India. I'm a Gold Ambassador. It's been almost 3 years that I've been in the community, and I'm so excited to be here. Coming on to your question, as you just said, I joined the Microsoft Student Ambassadors community in my first year, and I was a newbie to tech. I had no idea about cloud computing, but that was something. The first thing which really kind of fascinated me. I kind of digged into it as a Microsoft learning path, and I started digging deep into it. I got really fascinated by Microsoft Azure. I started conducting events on it. Maybe I've conducted around 20 events on Microsoft Azure now, and today I'm Microsoft certified, Azure certified, and further taking it more further, I started empowering the vulnerable section of society with Microsoft Azure. I started empowering the visually impaired students in my country and the acid attack survivors with Microsoft Azure. And I'm proud to say that even today, my visually impaired student is Microsoft Azure certified. So that's the
Nice.
impact that Microsoft Azure has made in the community.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. And we will walk through the whole list here. Hopefully, be within this half hour, be able to talk to everyone here. The next question would then logically probably go over to Arpita. Is that how I would say your name? I don't want to butcher
Yes.
your name there. Hi.
No, it's Arpita.
Arpita, how are you doing, Arpita? And tell us, of course, where you're from and so on and so forth. But I want to also know when you're done being a student, when you start actually working, get a life, get a job. What is your dream job? Where do you want to go after studying? After studying?
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Arpita, and I'm currently in my pre-final year of BTech Computer Science Engineering from VIT. And now, coming to your question, I have never found the answer to that question. I don't know how people decide that we want to be a developer, we want to be an engineer. I want to be everything. I can't be everything. But something that I've decided is I've had fun working on Microsoft products, especially Azure and Power Platform, my favorite too. And I really want to do something that involves those two because else it gets like okay, I can do that, but yeah, my favorite's here. So probably I'll try to get a role on MS. So yeah, if recruiters are hearing it, hi, I'm here. So I'll probably try to get a role there and use the technologies that I know of and I've learned because I got exposed to Azure last year, somewhere in July, So it's been like 6 months, but I have a lot of projects, and that just shows how easy it's to learn Azure. Thank you.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And so it's hard to say what exactly your job will be or which company you would work with, but what you are saying is that your interest in technology is what drives you at this point. So okay, brilliant. Thank you for letting us know this. And I want to know a little bit more about the student ambassador program, because you can imagine that you have probably even younger students out there listening to you now, or people who are not in this program. So if we move on to Rishit, that's your name? Yes. And
Yes.
so tell us a little bit, what is a student ambassador? What does a student ambassador do, and how do you become one if you wanted to be a student ambassador?
Sure. Hi, Magnus. It's great to be here. And I'm Rishad. I'm a high school student from India. I'm also a good Microsoft Learn student ambassador, and I love research. So that's a bit about me. And coming to the question about student ambassadors. So if you have a passion for technology, if you want to build something with technology, or you're just exploring it, all you need is a passion with technology. That's the entry requirement into the program. That's the main entry requirement into the program. And about being a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, the application process, you need to follow an application process, and that too validates your passion in technology. It does not have to be Microsoft technologies, or all the Microsoft Learn student ambassador program demands from you is you being able to bring the next revolution by technology, or at least having the mindset to do so, which is what I find really inspiring, and something I would love to be a part, something I love to be a part of. About being a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, you would often find yourself, you also get a lot of benefits, which are pretty cool. Let me say this right on. You get Azure credits, which you can use a lot. I build a lot of projects with Azure credits, rack up a huge bill, but yeah, that's part of the learning process.
It is.
So you get all of these benefits. You can build cool projects with it, explore technology, and even teach others technology, which is also something that the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program will help you in doing. You want to help your friends learn some technologies, or help someone else in the community, give back to the community. That's something you'll find yourself doing a lot in the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program.
Okay, that's brilliant. So you can recommend then, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. All right, thank you for sharing that with us. And we're going to move along to the next person who is in this call now. And I think you figured out my method, right? So that brings us now down to Bavuk. It's your turn. And so tell me, do you feel that learning technical skills and learning technology, do you feel that the Student Ambassador program is helping you, maybe giving you an edge in your skills acquisition?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Bhavuk Kalra. I'm currently a final year undergrad in India, based in Thapar University. Currently ongoing my internship in Karnataka, a state in India. So, coming back to your question, so we have a thing in Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program that we all learn together and we all help each other grow. And there are a lot of events, workshops, and just constantly happening throughout the year, throughout the week, and it's just a community effort. Recently, if I can state a good example, we are actually having a AI gaming event, and if you want to also join some leagues where are more specific, like AI, IoT, or any low level code design, and you can also join that. So it's all a community effort. I joined this program about, I believe, 3 years from this now, and I can definitely say I've gotten an edge starting early, and all these workshops I have conducted a lot myself, and all these workshops collaborating with each other. We all have actually met sometime around the corner during this program, because it's a lot of collaboration happening throughout the community. And to give a final word to your question, yes, it indeed gives a lot of edge. And as Rishit mentioned as well, we have hands-on with Azure. We get a lot of credits and a lot of benefits as well. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of benefits.
That's great. And so that means that being a student ambassador is like an icing on the cake that just makes everything better. Well,
Correct.
I'm excited to hear that, because there is no such thing one as the student ambassador program when I was studying, none that I know of. And so I'm happy that this is evolving and growing, and including so many more young learners in technology, and kind of helping to build your path into this industry. And let's go on. Let's move on to our next person who is here. When it comes to communities, when it comes to community activism, what kind of activities do you as student ambassadors engage in? And which community activities do you enjoy the most?
So, hello, I'm Fodinisa Vidu. I'm from Greece and I study electrical computer engineering. I'm a student ambassador since 2 years now, and a gold student ambassador since January. Uh, as an ambassador, you have a chance to do a lot of things. The most important is that you have the opportunity to speak in public and share your knowledge and be the teacher for your peers to share your knowledge. You don't have to be an expert in the field to be a speaker. Uh, Also, you can collaborate with other students and build educational material. For example, last year I had the chance to collaborate with other students and build a learning path that was published on Microsoft Learn. And also, I had the chance to speak on Learn TV along with Microsoft Cloud Advocates. And this was one of the most amazing experience I had as a student. Of course, you can have a lot of fun with your local community and participate in physical events now, and collaborate with other students all around the world.
That's great. That is absolutely great. And you were in Greece, you said.
Yes, I'm in Greece.
Wonderful. All right, so let's move to the bottom row on screen, and there's Narcis. Is that your name, Narcis?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, welcome to the show. And have you taken part in anything in the Global Azure events this year? And which activities? And did you enjoy your interaction with Global Azure?
Awesome. Greetings, everyone. My name is Nassis. I'm currently based here in South Africa. I'm also a Gold Student Ambassador and also a Azure Heroes AI Ambassador as well. So to answer your question, Mangus, yes, I did participate in the Global Azure conference. I had 2 sessions earlier on today, natural language processing and on machine learning as well. So as much as that sounds like AI everywhere, I prefer doing everything on Azure. I found that why limit yourself when you can explore everything and become a master of all trades, basically. But my main focus is on AI, to be more specific. And with regards to the experience of it, there were some glitches here and there, but other than that, I love sharing my content with other people. I love sharing my knowledge with other people. And as long as that went through and is able to impact someone, it's a win for me as well. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. So I want to jump to the last person who is on screen, and that is Goodness. How are you doing, sir? You're all right? You had to wait until last. There wasn't a specific reason. You just landed on the screen in that order. I think maybe it was the order that Rick clicked the buttons, probably, that put you on the screen in that configuration. So
That's
let's talk about Microsoft for a little bit there. Two things, right? Do you feel that Microsoft is doing a good job when it comes to welcoming students such as yourselves into their technology? And maybe if you can, and we'll probably throw that question out to the rest of you as well, but you can certainly start and take your time. What could Microsoft do even better to support students even more?
okay. Thank you very much. So let me also do the normal ritual of introduction, introducing myself. My name is Goodness Alawere. I am a good Microsoft Student Ambassador from Nigeria. Um, I am a final year student of Computer Science and Education from State University. Yeah. So to answer your question, I um, I really do think that Microsoft is on the right track and on the right path because basically the I feel like one of the reasons why there is the student ambassadors program, apart from um, having students learn Microsoft technologies, right? Most of the time it's free of charge, right? If not all of the time, right? So apart from that, I think one of the reason again is to have these student ambassadors get familiar with these technologies, know these technologies, and get to a point where they are employable by Microsoft, right? And has Microsoft been able to achieve that? I would say yes. So I'm currently based in Nigeria, and from the student ambassadors community, just a couple of days ago, two of our members resumed new roles at Microsoft. One as a cloud advocate, who is focused on Power BI and artificial intelligence, and that is Jaflet, and the other as a software engineer in another country, right? So, I mean, these guys are basically people who probably before joining the Microsoft LinkedIn Ambassadors community, they had no idea of what Microsoft technology was, or they had no idea of what. Imagine Jaflet, who is a cloud advocate, who is now advocating for AI and Power Platform. Before he joined the community, he had no idea of what Power Platform was at that time, right? So I feel like it's the Microsoft LinkedIn Ambassadors program is a step in the right direction from Microsoft to have students learn and also bring them into Microsoft.
Okay, that makes sense to me. That sounds absolutely like a good thing. So let's do a little bit of a show of hands here because we can see you. So show of hands. I would like to work for Microsoft in the future. A few, not everyone. No, not everyone. You don't have to. You don't have to work for Microsoft. It's just a check to see. And okay, fine. Let's go with. I live in my country right now, but I really want to live in a different country and work in the future. A little bit. Not everyone. You want to stay in your country? No, not kind of half. Half, was that a half a hand? Yeah, maybe, but not sure. Brilliant. All right. So now, again, if you were running the Student Ambassadors program, any one of you now can we'll try with maybe we'll see who jumps in, right? And any one of you can run the Student Ambassador program. How would you make it? And this is not criticism. This is ideas. How would you make it even better? Anyone can jump in. You're so polite.
I don't mind. I don't know if they allow me to go, but with regards to answering your question, as much as awesome as it is right now, their program, it's really hard to say what to add. But what I would add if I was in charge is more job opportunities or more job exposures as student ambassadors, because we only stop there as ambassadors and only hope if our work gets recognized to get employment. But it would be nice if we get to do internship with partners, etc., so that we can get a job. That's what I would add on.
So you would want additional opportunities as interning and getting out into the job market.
Yes.
That's a good and valid. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. How many of you had a session during the Global Azure events these past days? Only one? Okay, so for some reason the rest of you did not. What would you say? Would it be useful for you to get more mentorship in this area in terms of giving a presentation? Would that be something that you would be interested in? Yeah, some nods. Bhavik,
Yes,
do you want to come? Sorry?
yeah, yeah. I actually want to answer that.
Yeah.
Okay. So initially, I wanted to participate in Global Azure Day, but I had my exam, so I had to back out. And then coming to the mentorship sessions, we had this program this time where they connected us to certain MVPs who would guide us about going around with presentations and content development. And
Yep.
I thought it was pretty useful, because they are someone who do that regularly in a professional world. So I got a lot from my MVP. He's from Nepal, a really nice guy. So I think that was more than enough that the program team could do for us.
That's great. And would that be something that you would recommend us to continue with? Because I have been talking to Ali behind the scenes here, who runs I don't know how much, maybe all of the student ambassadors program. I don't even know. But anyway, we've been trying to work this angle to find MVPs who often are very comfortable speaking publicly. We've done that a lot. And then connect with you guys who maybe have yet to do your first online presentation. Maybe you've never done, right? So is that something you would like more?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I
May I
have to
add on?
yeah. I have to say that I've been very nervous myself in the past as a speaker, as a presenter. I was for the longest time, if I can share for a second, for the longest time I was myself very nervous, especially in the beginning of my sessions. I'd be sweating like big plates under my arms, and it would be bad. But it takes time. And I don't know if you have heard your own voice on a recording. Have you seen your own presentation and listened to your own? In the beginning, that's a little bit like cutting yourself with a knife, right? It just like, that's not what I sound like. That's crazy. Who is this person? But you get over it. You learn to, I don't know, maybe not even appreciate, but at least you get used to listening to your own voice and seeing yourself. So if I can give you one advice, when you do a presentation, if it is recorded, force yourself to sit down and watch it. Start to finish, take notes. Oh, I was doing this with my head. I was making noises in my microphone. I was dancing around looking like I was nervous. Various things that you just look at yourself and try to see what you would have wanted. If you could give yourself some advice, what would you want yourself to do different next time? But even someone like me, now I have spoken on every continent in the world except for one, which is South America, and I'm actually planning a trip to South America this fall. So I will have captured them all the continents. And so what I'm saying is that I have done a lot of public speaking, and I would be happy to continue pushing to help student ambassadors get mentors for presentations, because I know what a strong skill that is if you can pull it off, right? You get your knowledge, you have your skills, you have your technical depth, and you're, I'm sure, very, very good at studying your books and learning your coding languages and all these things, absolutely. But these soft skills on the side there, those are going to help you in your career. So open microphone now. We have 7 minutes. Time is not enough. But open microphone, please. Anyone, anything you want to talk about at all, call out, jump in.
Um,
I would just like to add up something like since I think like many students much must be watching the program, so I think just to help them out, I would like to tell something about the Microsoft Student Ambassadors program, the milestone in it, and I think so that's going to be a little bit of informative for them. So if you allow, can I just go ahead for that? I'll just take
Go
a
for it.
minute so that it becomes more clear to them. Okay, so basically, first of all, if you are as Rishit and Bhavuk just spoke about, if you are passionate about tech, so just go ahead with applying for the program. Don't think about anything else. So once you get selected, so we basically have three milestones over here: alpha, beta, and gold. You have to simply do one Microsoft learning path and you become alpha Microsoft student ambassador. Then you were supposed to host one event which has a certain criteria based on the learning path you've done or whatever technology you're passionate about. You can conduct one event, maybe solely or maybe with a group, and then you get promoted to the beta milestone. So these are the two initial milestones, and the final and the highest one is the gold milestone. Though there is no criteria as such mentioned for it, but then that is purely based on your performance throughout, right from the beginning till the end, how you participate, what's like your participation, how active you are in the program, how much you are interactive with other student ambassadors, helpful to them, how are you giving it back to the society. So based on such criteria, I've just mentioned a few, there are other internal criteria as well. Then you become the gold Microsoft student ambassador after a span of 1 year. So that's only, this is a bit of piece of information for all those who are interested in becoming a Microsoft student ambassador. And I would really recommend you to do that, because when I see myself 3 years back and now, it's been a great jump. Being a gold Microsoft student ambassador, I got amazing opportunities, like to be a speaker at Microsoft Ignite 2021. I got an opportunity to judge Microsoft Imagine Cup Junior. I got an opportunity to mentor Tech Together Hackathon in Seattle and Chicago. These are just a few things which I mentioned. And it really helps us to accomplish our goals. It helps us to connect with the mentors and the cloud advocates working at Microsoft, which is, of course, every university student's dream, right? So that's about it. And if you have a little bit of, you can always connect to all of us and know more about the program, and do not hesitate to apply. Please apply if you're interested in.
That's
Thank you.
brilliant. We have a few minutes remaining, but I want to make sure that Rick gets to capture a screenshot of everything in the background. So make a big screen, Rick, and we'll all put on our very best smiles and look very
Sorry,
representative.
I would also like to add to buttress the point
Definitely, we'll
that
just make sure to capture some where we actually don't look like we're eating something or picking our nose or something. I don't know. Let's not do that. All right, Rick, are you ready? Give us oh, Rick is ready. Everybody smile and look happy. I think he got it right. There's no click or anything, so we don't know for sure if he did it. Did you get one? Oh yeah, he got it. Brilliant. So, all right, goodness, we'll let you continue your thought there. And you are now muted.
sorry, I was muted. Okay, so what I wanted to add is that um, anybody that is applying to become a Microsoft LinkedIn ambassador should know that um, it takes grit, right? It takes passion. Along the way, you might get bored. Along the way, you might get tired, right? But when there is when there is that passion, when there is that zeal to impact the people around you, and to make sure that you also leave the program a different person, better than person that you were before you joined the program. When there's that commitment, when there's that zeal, when there's that passion, everything works for you, right? So uh it is not all rosy like that, right? When you see student ambassadors on Twitter, on LinkedIn, you see them post about swags, you see them post about attending. Oh, we get, like, for example, last, I think 2 months ago, Microsoft ADC, Microsoft Africa Development Center, West Africa, they launched their new office in Nigeria, right? And a few student ambassadors were giving an all expense paid trip, right, from across Nigeria to Lagos, right? So those are some of the benefits, right? So if you are anticipating, or you are a prospective LinkedIn ambassador, right? All of those things shouldn't be the primary reason why you are applying to become an MLSA. Thank you.
Perfect. That's actually a very good way of rounding off this segment, because Learn TV is about to kick us out. So no matter how much we want to stay here, at the top of, like, we have 25 seconds to go, and then Learn TV just goes and we're out. So I want to thank you so much for coming on this segment, and I hope to be able to do this again next year for Global Azure. And thank you so much for being with us, and have a great day wherever you are, and continue learning, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you for having us, Magnus.
Thank you.